Greetings! It's Maxo Diddley. Today I'm going to be going over a few things you can do to reduce your student loan repayments in the UK. Before we get into it, I just want to clarify, this is for UK student loans. If you're in another country with a different type of student loan, this tutorial will not apply to you. This is only for UK student loans. Let's get right into it. So the first thing you can do is use salary sacrifice to contribute money into your pension, as doing this reduces your taxable income, meaning you end up paying less income tax, less national insurance, and lower student loan repayments each month. Let's give a little example. Let's say you earn £50,000 a year, and you sacrifice £4,000 a year into your pension, using salary sacrifice. In the eyes of HMRC and the student loan company, you're earning £46,000, even though your salary is £50,000, because that £4,000 goes into your pension before HMRC and the student loan company look at it. This is a common way people lower their salaries to try and optimise the tax situation, and you can do this to reduce your student loan repayments, but also potentially the interest on your student loan, because between two values, the amount of interest your loan has varies depending on what you earn in between these two values. So if you use salary sacrifice and it lowers your taxable salary to a value within this range, you can actually slightly reduce the growth of your student loan. Now, there are a couple of things to consider. Firstly, since you're reducing your salary by putting more into your pension, your take-home pay is going to be a little lower. Secondly, not every workplace is going to offer you the ability to use salary sacrifice to contribute to your pension. There are other types of ways you can add money into your pension, and they only offer income tax relief, meaning it won't reduce your student loan repayments. So I recommend you ask HR how pensions work with your company. Ask them if you can do salary sacrifice. If your workplace offers that, and you're able to afford sacrificing some money into your pension, go for it. Also, when you're taking money out of your pension, you may also protect that income from student loan repayments. Because if you're on Plan 2, there's a very high chance your loan's been written off, as it gets written off after 30 years, or the amount you're taking out of your pension each year is below a student loan repayment threshold. So you can reduce your student loan repayments going in, and reduce or eliminate them when you're taking your money out of your pension. Just keep in mind, 30 or 40 years is a long time, and tax policies are probably going to be different then. Now, sticking with salary sacrifice, some companies may offer other salary sacrifice schemes, like getting a bike so you can bike to work, or a workplace nursery. Now, these types of schemes are rare, but you may have them, and they may offer something you need. I would ask HR, do you have any other salary sacrifice schemes? If they have something that interests you, and it's something you want or need, go for it. You'll be able to slightly reduce your student loan repayments, as like with salary sacrificing into a pension, you're going to be slightly reducing your gross salary, so you reduce how much income tax you pay, how much national insurance you pay, but also reduce your student loan repayments. But this one is a lot rarer than salary sacrificing into a pension. The next one is quite similar to salary sacrifice, and that's share incentive plans, more specifically partnership shares. So this is a separate thing to salary sacrifice, and it's a tax policy that allows employees to get shares in the company they work for. And partnership shares are purchased from your gross salary, meaning they're purchased before tax, like when you salary sacrifice into a pension, which reduces your taxable income, which reduces how much income tax you pay, how much national insurance you pay, but also reduces your student loan repayments. Now, as of writing this video, you can contribute up to £1,800 per tax year, or 10% of your salary, whichever one is lower. You don't need to max this out, and in some cases the company may offer you matching shares. So maybe every share you buy, the company is going to then give you 2 more on top of that, up to a certain point. So it's worth asking your company if they offer any share incentive plans, more specifically partnership shares, and maybe buying a few shares in your company from your gross salary to slightly reduce your student loan repayments. And also, if you hold the shares for long enough, typically 5 years, they can become tax-free when you want to sell them, or take them out of the partnership plan and, let's say, maybe move them into your ISA. So if you hold these long enough, they can become tax-free, which also means no student loan payments when they come out. Just one thing to keep in mind with everything I've discussed so far: don't let the tax tail wag the dog. Meaning, these are all good, but they will reduce your disposable income. The next thing we're going to discuss is the unearned income cliff of £2,000. So dividend payments from stocks and savings interests on cash you have in the bank count as unearned income. And the key rule here is, if unearned income is £2,000 or less in a tax year, all of it is ignored for student loan repayments. So potentially earning 1 penny more in unearned income can cost you £180 for that tax year. So the general goal here is to keep your unearned income below £2,000 or avoid creating taxable unearned income at all. And luckily, there are a few ways you can do this. Premium bonds. Premium bonds are a savings product where your money doesn't earn interest, but instead, when you hold money in there, you are entered into a monthly prize draw. And you can win between £25 and £1 million. And you can take your money out whenever you like. And the great part about premium bonds is, prizes are tax-free. They're not treated as income, they're not treated as unearned income, and therefore you don't need to make student loan repayments based on how much you make. As of making this video, you can hold up to £50,000 in premium bonds. And the other important savings product to look at are ISAs. There are 2 main types of ISAs I'm going to cover in this guide: stocks and shares ISAs and cash ISAs. So in a stocks and shares ISA, you're allowed to invest in shares or funds, and any dividend income you have in an ISA is tax-free. Meaning, you don't pay dividend tax, and you don't make student loan repayments based on any dividends that you make inside of your stocks and shares ISA. Also, when you sell shares or funds in your stocks and shares ISA, you don't pay any capital gains tax. You don't make student loan repayments on capital gains. There are also cash ISAs. And cash ISAs are just a savings account where interest is tax-free. Because that interest never becomes taxable income to HMRC or the student loans company, you don't have to make any student loan repayments based on interest you earn in a cash ISA. So premium bonds and ISAs are great tools to also help keep you below the £2,000 unearned income threshold, as you can make most of your unearned income inside of the ISAs and the premium bonds, meaning you're not going to be using up much or any of your £2,000 unearned income threshold. Just one little side note, there are a few other things that count as unearned income. I strongly recommend looking up how you're making your money and whether or not it's considered income, unearned income, or a capital gain. The next thing to look at is the trading allowance. As of filming this tutorial, it's £1,000. It may change in the future. So if you have some side income, like buying and selling items online, freelancing, or even a YouTube channel, you can earn up to £1,000 in revenue per tax year and not report it to HMRC. This is revenue, not profit. If your revenue even goes 1 penny over £1,000, you need to report it to HMRC, and you may need to make student loan repayments based off of that. However, if you're making money from a full-time job, and you're making student loan repayments already, and you have a small side gig and you're making a few £100 a year, if the revenue is below £1,000, you don't need to report it to HMRC, Therefore, you don't need to make student loan repayments on what you're making. And the final thing on the list is capital gains. When you make a capital gain, you don't need to make any student loan repayments on the gain you made. You may need to pay capital gains tax, but you don't need to make any student loan repayments. Student loan repayments is based off of income, not capital gains. A quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor or accountant. Tax and student loan rules can change, so always double check with HMRC and the student loans company, or you can speak to a qualified professional before making decisions. I use a few of these methods to reduce my monthly student loan repayments. Also, don't let the tax tail wag the dog. Only do these things if they actually make sense for you financially, not just to save a bit on student loans. If you have any other questions, I recommend you speak to an accountant. And that's it for this tutorial. Be sure to leave a like in the comments if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more tutorials. Thanks for watching.